And that is, it is the system itself that is no longer operable if a system is to operate in a fair and just, democratic, positive way. I mean, I've been saying this for months. What does it take? Actually, for years. What will it take until the American people finally realize that nobody is listening to the legitimate concerns and complaints of all of us? Nobody's listening to students. Nobody's listening to the uninsured. Nobody's listening to veterans. Nobody's listening to old people. Nobody's listening to people who graduate from college and can't get a job unless it's grinding up coffee beans and have so much debt that they'll never, literally never escape. Nobody's listening when homes are foreclosed on so that some high-rolling sons of bitches on Wall Street can make another 10, 20, 50 million dollars. Nobody's listening. Nobody cares. In the power structure, we care. You and I care. Abdul-Jabbar cares. That was his point. But capitalism has a way of just dividing and if not conquering, just grinding people down, grinding us into the dirt, grinding us down, taking away whatever spirit or sense that life can be pleasurable sometimes or fun, God forbid. And what do we get in return? We get television programs that are as divorced from reality as North is from South. Pop culture. Have you taken a hard look at pop culture lately? I mean, discussions are out there all over the place about whether or not, what's her name? Who's young girl that invented twerking? Or who is that, Kathy? Yeah, whether or not Miley Cyrus is showing enough of her ass on this particular tour, or Rush Limbaugh talking about how a woman who wants birth control included in insurance plans is a whore and wants other people to pay for her sex relationships. I mean, are you aware of that? Are you aware that 24/7 this kind of garbage is being pumped into the minds of everybody in this country, and why? Do you think the 1% pays any attention to this? They develop it. They're the ones that put it out there. This murderous economic system that calls itself capitalism has pretty much run its course. Aren't we all aware of that? Aren't we aware of capitalism has gotten itself to a point now where it doesn't really need human beings? So what are all of us supposed to do? Capitalism doesn't need human beings in the sense that it doesn't want the expense, at least not American human beings. Why not go to Bangladesh, where human beings there are 1/10 the cost of human beings here? Oh, and if 1,000 of them die in a building collapse, or 300 or 400 are burned alive in a factory fire, collateral damage. Is it any wonder that this crazed fundamentalist religion, this Middle Ages garbage, is on the uptick? What the hell else do people have? So there it is. I mean, a lot of people are beginning to I hope, come out of the fog, come out of the trance, come out of the hypnotic state, come out of this suffocating lies and deception that we have been forced to breathe for the past 40 years. Do you realize what has happened here in the past 40 years? Just the past 40. Start there. You don't have to go back to 1781. Start here, 40 years ago. I'm talking about the middle class. Middle class. It was built by unions. So what was the first thing necessary to destroy the middle class? Destroy the unions. Education. Education, by its very nature, raises people up. Black, white, some shade in between. It raises you up. It makes you conscious. So what's the first thing to do? Destroy education. Now you got to pretend like you're still educating. So I know, teach them that the earth is 6,000 years old, and anyone that says anything to the contrary is a communist, a queer, a destroyer, an atheist, a rat bastard, somebody that needs to be removed. Well, I will once again echo what Abdul-Jabbar said in his piece and what you and I have talked about now for a number of years. He said, why are there not 4 million students in the streets today? Nah, that might be a start, but why aren't there 40 million adults, including students, in the streets today? What are we waiting for? Seriously, what are we waiting for? Didn't Occupy prove you don't need a leader? What you need are people of a like mind, people who feel the same feelings, people who are aware of what's going on. God damn it, you're aware, and so am I, and our millions of people in this country are aware. So what are we waiting for? I'm not talking about violence. Oh, hell no. I'm talking about 40 million people in the street saying, enough. Enough! It can't be because we're all tired. It can't be because we're all depressed. It can't be because we're all so afraid of losing our minimum wage jobs that we don't want to risk it by getting caught on some video someplace. It can't be. What is it that stops us? What are we waiting for? You know, that question has rattled around inside my head for the longest damn time. Injustice, unfairness. I just can't help but wonder, what are we waiting for?